Okay, Chief Chair Squilla, council members and participants, we are now live.
Thank you. Today is Friday, May 5th, Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. Good morning. Before we begin the public hearing, I would like to make the following announcements. Due to continued threat to public health from COVID-19, City Council committees are currently meeting remotely. We're using Microsoft Teams to make these remote hearings possible. Instructions for how the public may view and offer public testimony and public hearings at council committees are included in the public hearing notices that are published in the Daily News, the Inquirer, and Legal Intelligencer prior to the hearings, and can also be found on phlcouncil.com. I now note that the hour has come. Mr. Glonical, please call the roll for the take attendance. For the members that are in attendance, please say a few words so your image appears on the screen.
Councilwoman Brooks. Councilwoman Gautier.
Present.
Councilwoman Gilmore Richardson. Councilman Johnson.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and President.
Councilman Jones.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, colleagues, and Philadelphia viewers.
Councilman Squilla.
Good morning, President. Thank you. A quorum of the committee is present and the hearing is now called to order. This is a public hearing on the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development regarding Bill number 230152. Bill number 230305 is being held. Mr. McGonigal, can you please read the title of the bill number 230152?
Bill number 220152, amending section 9-1132 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Cashless Retail Prohibition by providing an exemption for gym membership transactions under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you. Before we begin the hearing, testimony from the witnesses we have today. Everyone who has been invited to the meeting to testify should be aware that this public hearing is being recorded. Because the hearing is public, participants and viewers have no reasonable expectation of privacy. By continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. Additionally, prior to recognizing members for their questions or comments they have for witnesses, I will note for the record at this time we will have to use the chat feature available on Microsoft Teams to allow members to signify that they wish to be recognized. In order to comply with the Sunshine Act, the chat feature must only be used for this purpose. Mr. McGonigal, can you please call the panel we have to testify this morning on bill number 230152?
Yes, can we please have Karen Fagley?
Good morning, Karen. Just state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Good morning, Chairman Squilla and members of the committee. My name is Karen Fagley, Deputy Commerce Director. I'm here to testify in support of bill number 230152. The ordinance had required all retail operators to accept cash so they can be accessible to those who may not have a bank account or credit card. But since the cashless retail prohibition was added in 2019, many gyms and fitness centers have struggled to comply with the cashless retail prohibition because they traditionally require a card or bank account on file for ongoing membership. During the height of COVID, many of these businesses also tried to operate as contactless as possible. So this additional exemption under consideration would only apply to gym membership transactions, meaning fitness centers would still accept cash for other retail goods and services, such as, prepackaged snacks and bottled waters. So we remain dedicated to supporting all sectors of our economy and support this bill. And thank you for the opportunity to testify. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Are there any questions from members of the committee? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on bill number 230152? Seeing none, do we have any public testimony today for this bill?
We do not have any public testimony.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. We could get ready to conclude the hearing for today. There will be no further questions from members of the committee and no other witnesses to testify. We asked at last time if there's anyone present at the hearing whose name has not been called that wishes to offer testimony for the bill to be considered today. Hearing none, I want to thank all the panels and witnesses for the participation today. We value your opinions and now invite all panels and witnesses to please disconnect from the meeting before we go into a public meeting We will now pause the proceedings briefly to allow people to leave. This concludes the public hearing in the committee, and we'll now go into a public meeting to consider the action to be taken on bills before the committee today. We will now convene the public meeting. Ms. McGonigal, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Brooks, Councilwoman Gautier,
Present.
Councilwoman Gilmore Richardson, Councilman Johnson,
Present, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Jones,
I'm present.
Councilman Squilla.
Present, thank you. That's a quorum is present. Today, we'd like to recognize Councilmember Jones for a motion on Bill number 230152.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that bill number 230152 be moved from this committee with a favorable recommendation in the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading at our next session of council. Second.
Second.
All right, I believe that was Councilmember Johnson. For the record, Councilmember Johnson seconded the bill. It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 230152 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit the first reading this day of the first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Thank you all. This will conclude the meeting for the business for the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development Day. Thank you for your attendance and time.
Well done, Mr. Chair. I think this might be a record.
In and out.
In and out. Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.